Okay, welcome. We've got an interesting question in front of us. So yeah, this is an interesting question. So what the question says, 1/4 of a work is done in 3 days, start paying attention, in 3 days by 4 men, then how many men are required to complete the rest of the work in 2 days? Okay, in 2 days. So summarizing this, if I summarize it here, you know what the problem is saying? There is a work, some portion of the work is given. There is work, there is days, there are men required to complete the work in the specified number of days. So the 1/4 of a work, so 1/4 of a work is done in 3 days. So it is done in 3 days by 4 men, alright? Then how many men are required to complete the rest of the work? Rest of the work means the 3/4 of the work left, because 1/4 of the complete is complete, which means 3 of the 4th is left. So how many men are required to complete the 3/4 of the work, to complete the rest of the work in 2 days? So how many men you need? So this is the question that we have to figure out. So let's do it, let's solve it. So let's wipe this up now, because we have summarized the question. Let's figure out the answer to the question. Okay, so let's write the question above. So the work, 1/4 work, then 3/4 work, and then days, 3 days, 2 days, and then man, 4, and then x. So you have to find the value of x. So how are we going to do this? So one way to solve it is easy. Do what? Find the ratio of this. Find the ratio of this, which will be 4 over x. Then this will be equal to what? This will be, let's try to find the relationship between this and this. What's the relationship between? Because we have to find the value of this. So we are going to find the relationship between this and this thing. So if you get more number of men to do the work, what does that mean? What does that mean? Then they will do more work. More men will do more work. Less men do less work. So if you have more men to do the work, then they will do more work. It means they have positive relationship. It means they have positive relationship. It means the relationship between man and work is positive. So 4 over x will be equal to 1/4 over 3/4. If there were only these two things here, work and man, okay? If 1/4 work is done by 4 men, then 3/4 work will be done by how many men? Then this will be just the linear relationship that you have to multiply by 3. If 1/4 work is done by 4 men, then 3/4 work will be done by 12 men. It's simple. Does that make sense? If 1/4 is done by 4 men, then 3/4 will be done by 4 men. If there were only these two things done, okay, it will be of this type, and x will be 4 here. You can get it from this. That 4 will cancel out. This will be 1/3, and 4 3s are 12. So x will be 12, which is good. It matches with our intuition and logic as well. Okay, so this is the relationship that we established between these two. Now let's establish the relationship between these two now. If there are more men, then they will do the work in less days. So there is an opposite relation. There is an inverse relation. It means we need to invert it. The ratio will be inverted. So this will be multiplied by not 3 over 2, but by 2/3. Does that make sense? This will be multiplied by 2/3. So this will be 4 over x. Okay. Why will be this? Because these two had positive relation. This has inverse relation. This has inverse relation with each other. That's why the ratio should be, one of the ratios should be inverted. But we cannot invert this, because if we invert this, we have to invert this as well. So we'd better invert this. Okay, that's why we inverted this thing. So yeah, now the relationship is established, and now we can figure out for the things that we want. So this is 1/3, this is 2/3, okay. Is that 1/3? 1/3, because 4 over cancels out. Okay, so 4 over x is equal to 2 over 9, and 36 will be this. So 2x will be, So 2x will be, because this will be 2x cross multiplying, 2x will be 36. And if you find the value of x will be 18. So there are 18 men required to do this work in 2 days. The rest of the work, the 3/4 left work, 18 men can do that work. That's one way. There's also another way to approach this question. This was more sweet and less tedious way. Okay, this was less tedious way to approach this question. There is another way as well. Let's show you that. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. So we know the answer is 18. So now let's get rid of the answer. Okay, but let's note it down here. Our answer was 18. Next method. One method is that, wait, if 1/4 work can be done by 4 men, then 3/4 work will be done by, 3/4 work will be done by how many men? 3 times 4 men, 12 men. If days is constant, it means you do not change day. I mean 3 days. In 3 days, 1/4 work is done by 4 men. Then in the same 3 days, 3/4 work will be done by 12 men. You do not change the day. But the days changed in 12 days. We have to figure this out. Okay? So 3/4 work can be done by 12 men in 3 days. In 3 days. By having the days constant. By making the day, there's 3 up here and 3 here as well in 3 days. But we have to find this in 2 days. It's the same question. This question here and this question is same, but the only thing that doesn't match is this 3. We have to make that 3 2. If we could do it answer this question in 2 days, then the question will be solved. Okay? So if you want to find it in 2 days, what's the relationship between days and this? If you increase days, then men will be less, or if you increase man, then days will be less. So there is an inverse relationship. So you have to do inverse operation. So 3 men, in 3 days 12 men are needed. So for 1 day, how many men will be needed? 12 times 3. 12 times 3. Because in normal operation, you would divide it. But it's not normal, it's inverse. So you'd multiply it. So it'll be 36. Okay? And if you want to figure out for 3 days, okay, this is days. If you want to figure out for 3 days, then for 3 days it will be 36 divided by, not divided by, okay, divided by. Because in normal, for 1 day it is this, then for 3 days you have to multiply. But in this case it's an inverse relationship, that's we have to divide. Okay, so this is not wrong. You have to find it in 2 days. Okay, so this was, because if you do it in 3 days, then it comes to this answer again. But you have to figure out in 2 days. 2, which will be 18 here. So it does match with our original answer, 18. It means 18 is the answer. So you can do it in whatever way you want. The previous way, I guess, both the relationship is given in the same equation, and then it is calculated. You calculate what's the relationship between this and this, and then you evaluate what's the relationship between this and this, and you write one single equation. That's the most sweet way to do it. And you write one single equation and calculate for x. See you in the next video.